What's up guys, hopefully you all are having a good day so far and are ready for a new Resident Evil Top 10 video. This Top 10 list is gonna be pretty simple. This is gonna be my top 10 favorite iconic Resident Evil locations in the entire franchise. I think I actually left some pretty underrated picks in here, so let's go ahead and get started, shall we?
We've got work to do.
Winters! You'll never see your rose again!
My number 10 pick for the most iconic location is going to be Castle Dimitrescu from Resident Evil 8. So RE8 has only been out for a little over 4 years, but I would have to say that the castle and the village are one of the better locations that we've had in a recent Resident Evil game. I think when the Ethan Winters story is all said and done, which to be honest I think it already is, but anyways, people will look back at RE8 and Castle Dimitrescu as one of the best iconic locations.
Is this the place? Okay, stand back.
Now at number 9 is one of my more unexpected but underrated picks, and that is the Fishing Village from Resident Evil Revelations 2. This is a really cool little spot in Rev 2 that you actually get to explore quite a lot because you go through there as Claire and Moira, and also as Barry and Natalia. And it's also cool because there's a lot of little houses and stuff in this village that you can interact with and actually go inside of. It's even got its own cabin fight.
I have your weapons for you here. Check them.
For my number 8 pick, I also think this one's kind of an underrated pick because I don't think a lot of RE fans would choose this location as an iconic one, but I think Kajuju, which is just the whole beginning sequence of Resident Evil 5, has become one of their more iconic locations in the franchise. Most notably, the public assembly section from the first chapter is, in my opinion, one of the most iconic locations in the franchise, and definitely in Resident Evil 5. I know some of y'all have to agree that this one is iconic. Now for my number 7 pick for the most iconic locations is the train from Resident Evil 0, which is also known as the Ecliptic Express. This train section serves as the beginning portion of Resident Evil 0, but I think what earns this one a spot in the top 10 list is the fact that the train is the location where the very first kind of outbreak happened in the Resident Evil universe. The leech virus infected the people in the train first, and that is what spread all the viruses worldwide.
Wait, don't shoot!
Who are you?
Huh? You're not a zombie. Well, great. Wait right there.
At my number 6 pick is Resident Evil Code Veronica's Rockford Island. I think Rockford Island with the prison and the military base and everything is one of the coolest locations in the Resident Evil franchise, but seeing as this game is about 25 years old now, I think this one also earns itself the right to be an iconic location. Also, some of the cooler locations of that game are the palace and that mansion, which both are set on Rockford Island. Now making its way into the top 5 entry of the most iconic locations is the village from Resident Evil 4. The village is one of the most notable locations in Resident Evil 4, as you actually get to go back to the village later during the nighttime, and you also get to experience the village while playing Ada's Separate Ways DLC. I also have to point out that the village from RE4 was used as a playable map in Resident Evil's Mercenaries 3D on the Nintendo DS, and also Umbrella Corps. And one of the best lines ever comes from this section of the game.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
You don't get away that easily.
Number 4 on the top 10 most iconic Resident Evil locations is gonna be the Umbrella Lab, which is most notably seen in Resident Evil 2. The lab is one of the coolest locations in the Resident Evil franchise, but it is also one of the most impactful locations as well, especially in the RE2 story. The lab is where Hunk and his men find Birkin, which then forces William Birkin to inject himself with his own G-Virus. And the lab also serves as the location for the death of Annette Birkin, and also what Leon thought at the time was the death of Ada Wong. There's also some really dope and memorable boss fights that go down in the lab and underground sections of RE2 between Birkin and the Super Tyrant. So now at number 3 is one that I had to put somewhere high up on this list, and that is downtown Raccoon City. When it comes to exploring the streets of Raccoon City, that one is obviously most memorable in Resident Evil 3, as you don't really get to explore Raccoon City's outskirts and streets too much, except for the very beginning of Resident Evil 2. I think RE3 was the closest we had to having an open world Resident Evil game. Downtown Raccoon City was so iconic that Paul W.S. Anderson even made an entire Resident Evil movie based on RE3.
Hang on to something!
The Spencer Mansion is obviously the first location that we get to experience in the Resident Evil franchise, so it's without a doubt that this one is automatically one of the most iconic locations. You definitely cannot deny that the Spencer Mansion is one of the most, if not the most iconic location in the Resident Evil franchise, just for the fact that it has been used in so many different iterations of Resident Evil video games and movies. The Spencer Mansion also birthed some of the best and iconic moments in the Resident Evil universe, like the slow zombie head turn, and this.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
At number 1 is the most iconic location of all time in Resident Evil, and that is the RPD. The RPD is where everything starts. It's where everything begins for some of these iconic characters like Marvin, Claire, Sherry Birkin, Ada Wong, and, of course, Leon Kennedy. The idea of heading to the police station in a zombie apocalypse is a very eerie, yet realistic idea in a zombie apocalypse. So I think that game and its story is just absolutely fantastic. The thing that makes the RPD so eerie is the fact that you can tell it was once a very populated area that is now left vacated and a complete mess. You can also get a sense of panic just by looking at some of the rooms in the RPD that were once occupied by police officers right as the zombie outbreak was just starting. The RPD has easily become one of the most iconic locations in Resident Evil history, and I can't wait to revisit it, and hopefully downtown Raccoon City, and even the Umbrella Lab as well. All of those things would be really cool to be able to revisit. But definitely let me know what you guys thought about my list down in the comments below. Drop a like if you did agree with this list. Make sure to give me some hype points as well on this video. And with all of those things being said, I will see you guys all in the next video tomorrow. Peace.